I bet that sloth over there is the toughest mofo in the place. You don't want to mess with him.
I just said I was gonna fight him. I don't know how to fight.
Oh, come on, Nicole. Oh, I've never been to prison, but I've also never been to summer camp. This is a new episode of Won't You Be My Gamer. I'm Elise Willems.
I'm Nicole Zavalich, and this is a show where we play games with experts to learn things about things that we never even knew before.
And today we are back with a guest that we were having a blast with.
So much fun.
Carrie Blakinger, who you are a reporter for the LA Times, and you have an intimate knowledge of the prison system, and you're fighting for reform. Carrie, thanks so much for coming back. We're always surprised when somebody comes back for the second one,
right.
every single time.
It's validating.
Yeah, and Nicole, what are we playing today?
Today we are playing Back to the Dawn. It's another game where we are going to try and escape from prison.
And we've been cataloging some of the prison inaccuracies we've found in the games that we've played. This one, you have to overlook that it's all animals, I guess.
I mean, people really like to have prison pets. So there are some animals.
Are there pets? Yeah, oh, I guess there are like programs where
used-
you can have a pet in prison.
Oh, I just meant like illegitimate pets. Like,
Oh.
you adopt the feral cat. I mean, some people keep cockroaches as pets or mice or,
Really?
yeah.
Oh, I bet a mouse I'd be into, you know.
I mean, choices are limited. Sometimes you gotta settle.
Yep.
So in this game, we're a reporter who, spoiler, is gonna be sent to prison. And right off the bat,
Uncomfortably close to home.
yes,
Okay.
and he's
Do not
reporting
like.
from Skid Road, which feels like maybe LA adjacent
Do we
here.
think? And like
Really
the
just
river,
like in this?
the river maybe
guys
a little
trying to
bit
tell me something?
contaminated.
Yeah, but there's a river to be contaminated, so it's
Yeah.
not LA, I guess.
I mean, I would say the river in Frogtown's looking pretty nice
You're right,
lately.
you're right. That's some quality looking cement.
What is the state of the LA jails like right now?
They are a mess. They have been a mess for literally decades. They are probably some of the worst jails or prisons at all that I've covered in the country. Actually, they're quite terrible.
In what ways would you say?
A variety of creative ways in which they are terrible. They're actually the subject of 3 different major class action lawsuits that have been going on for decades. The first one started over just really bad conditions in the 70s, and they came to a consent decree in the late 70s. And since the late 70s, the LA Sheriff's Department has never managed to do what the court said to do. So this lawsuit is still ongoing, and it's really basic things like providing people mattresses.
So a suit comes through and the directive is like, you need to do these things. And
Yeah,
those-
the court will say there'll be
Yeah.
a settlement, the court approves it, it'll say you have to do X, Y, Z, and there'll be monitoring to ensure that you do it, and there's been decades of monitoring and it just hasn't happened. Instead, there have been additional suits filed over other problems. The DOJ, the federal government, actually sued the LA jails for having such terrible mental health care because people kept killing themselves. And also there's another class action suit because the staff had been beating the crap out of inmates. There's also a high death rate in the jails.
Is that because of the conditions? People aren't getting care that they might need?
I think
or...
it's complex. I think there's a lot of reasons why people are dying at a high rate in the jails. And I think part of it's that you have a high risk, high needs population. You don't have good medical care. And one of the overriding themes that I've noticed over the past 2 years that I've been covering is just the degree to which the staff will just ignore things and just not respond. Like at one point I got leaked video of, I don't know, a dozen or so inmates like stabbing and attacking another guy for something like more than 14 minutes before any of the staff responded, and they were directly adjacent to the guards booth and the guards just didn't respond. And I think that definitely contributes to some of the issues in the jails. But yeah, I mean, there's mold, there's fires. There was 2 people that died after getting hypothermia like a year or so ago because there wasn't adequate heat in the winter.
So it sounds like loaded and compounding problems that just
Yeah.
aren't getting addressed. Do you get a lot of access to these jails to go inside or with people working within them?
Not directly. Like, I have done jail tours, like they let me go in and see them at the beginning, but like I can't just show up any day of the week and go in and see the conditions, right?
Hey guys.
Right. So there are entities that do oversight inspections, and I talk to them a lot. I talk to the lawyers in the lawsuits. I go to court when there's, class action lawsuits have an update of some kind. And I put in records requests for autopsies and things like that. To some degree, I'm also trying to interview people and families who are in jail or have been in jail. But because jails are more short-term stay, it's actually harder to get sources in there.
Just a quick check-in with Nicole here because it seems like somebody's
Oh, I
getting put in
dislike
cuffs.
this.
Yeah,
Is that reporter getting arrested?
absolutely, yeah.
First Amendment. Yeah, there's some kind of First Amendment violation here. I'm
that
sure
creepy guy
of it.
in the window framed me. I'm sure of it.
What?
Okay. Oh, this hurts my heart.
So were
I do
you
not
were
like
you
this premise.
investigating? You were investigating the
sewage in the river.
the dumping in the river?
It seems as though the mayor is not only is complacent, but is part of the scheme too.
Complacent and complicit.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
and also a huge reason I'm being put into prison.
the corruption goes all
Okay,
the way
well,
to the
you
top.
better write about everything you see in prison.
So
you got a
fu-
bestseller when you get out.
Finding a pen and paper is going to be a priority.
That's true. Yeah.
I want to,
That's a starting point. Yeah.
I'm a journaler, even in prison.
This is very accurate. That captain just claimed that his words are the law, which is legally not true, but also totally on brand.
Okay. So here they called it head count.
That's so interesting. They said head count is in the lobby at 8. I don't know any place, I've never heard of or covered a jail or prison where they make you go to a different location for head count. You usually have to be like either where you are supposed to be in your jobs assignment or whatever, or you have to be at your bunk. So nobody believes him right now. He's just
Okay.
saying it. He's telling them he's a journalist. I guarantee you they're like, sure, honey, you're a journalist. Okay.
We're all journalists here. He works for the Times. I work for CNN. Yeah.
There's a payphone in the lobby. That's unrealistic.
Okay.
There's not. You can't go use a payphone in the lobby. What you gonna pay
No.
with? You don't have money. You would have
Okay,
a
yeah.
phone that you can make collect calls from, or your family can set up some kind of account through one of the major third-party companies that do these things. But like, you can't just go up and put money in a phone because money is contraband.
In this game, I get 2 calls a day, but my first call is going to
Oh.
cost $100.
If I don't like my
Okay,
one phone
that is
call,
low-key hilarious. Okay, because prison comms companies have been getting heat for years for how much they overcharge for phone rates.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like that's some great shade. I love that. It's not $100. That's inaccurate. But
Okay.
I love the sentiment. There's very few places that would have this array of colors. There are some places where different kinds of inmates would have different colors of clothes, but I think it's relatively uncommon to have red, orange, and blue. A lot of places don't let you wear blue because that's what the guards wear.
And I'm wondering if the blue, orange, and red are different levels of security.
That would be it. Sometimes it would be like mental health status or like this person's on suicide watch or something. I think their classification system needs some work.
and like,
We have notes.
are the uniforms made to accommodate for the turtle shell?
Oh
Is that
no, you're right.
something
You're
where-
right. These uniforms. Okay, that's unrealistic. The variety of sizes and shapes of the uniforms. You know,
Really?
they've got like small, medium, and large, and they're not making them tailored in different shapes. You know.
So there's a vacancy in the laundry room, though. Is that a place that maybe in like a prison
Yeah,
would
but
be
you
normal?
don't. Yeah, but they don't go. There's a vacancy in. They go. You're working in. You know.
So do not ask nicely. Should I put that on here? Do
Yes.
not.
Oh, see, he just said prison cash. I have a few coins left in my pocket. You don't have coins in your pocket in prison.
What's currency? Is it just kind of varies?
Well, you would get money would go on your books, so you're not touching the money. But in terms of like, you know, prisoner to prisoner, how we actually trade things, you have like different items that are sort of your base currency in different jails and prisons. Where I did time, you could smoke, so the currency was Newports.
Okay.
That was like the most common thing. Some people it's like ramen. I think one person I know that did Fed time said it was mackerel.
Okay.
Like the fish mackerel?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But do you know
Packets
why?
that you would buy on commissary.
It's just like a sardine sort of thing.
Yeah. And stamps is also really
Oh,
common.
It's my first day, and right now I'm just here to make friends.
Okay, that's a good strategy.
Uh-huh.
My Nicole's unique. Agreed.
So is this one.
Mm-hmm. So 2 months till
Oh,
parole.
okay, so that's not realistic. You don't immediately meet someone and tell them you have 2 months left. If you're short, if you have that little time left, you don't want to tell some stranger how much time you have left because they could use that against you in some
trying to
way.
like antagonize you or
yeah,
something.
just do something. I mean, we just call it take your date. Like they just
Okay.
do something mean to take your date, you know?
Do not share parole info.
I made a friend.
You talk about when you get out on parole, one of the stipulations is you cannot interact with somebody else who has a prior conviction. I feel like maybe you agree or disagree. You build so many bonds
Yeah.
in prison, and like when you're getting out, and maybe you don't have anyone else. That those were your family, those were the people that you know, and now you're out in the world, and like you're not allowed to talk to any of those people.
Right. And they're
you
also
know.
the only people who've gone through what you've just gone
Yes,
through.
or
Like
might
who
have-
have dealt with the adjustment process.
might have
before.
advice or resources to recommend to you of like what
Right.
to do now.
I think that might not be the rule anymore in New York, but it varies from state to state. So that's not always the case, but that was the case That was the case when I did time. And so that meant that if you wanted to keep in touch with your friends who were still on the inside, you had to do it in clandestine ways. Like you had to write them a letter pretending to be someone else.
What is your opinion on that? Do you think like, oh, this is stupid? Like, why are we, or is there
I think it's a really bad idea.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think that if somebody is planning to go do something criminal with someone they met in prison, the parole rule isn't stopping them, So it's only stopping the people who are trying to follow the rules. And those are the people that you'd actually want to be connecting with people who can support them,
Yeah. What is your current opinion on what California does in ways of rehabilitating or helping people readjust to life outside of prison?
I think that some of the main things that you need after prison are just expensive. You need good medical care, you need a safe place to live, that, not a shelter. I mean, obviously that's where a lot of people start, but, to actually meaningfully, build a life that is good enough that you don't think about like sliding back into, crime. I think that having a job, something fulfilling, a place to live, like transportation, these things are all key, and like things are really expensive in California. So I think that meeting those basic needs to ensure that people don't go back is even harder here. I mean, obviously people do get out of jail and prison and thrive. It's just, it's just challenging, and I don't think that we do a lot of the right things to support people.
I'm still in the friendship, time of my day. How much of your day was spent making friends?
I mean, I still have a lot of friends from prison, actually. I still have people that I met in prison that I keep in touch with.
Oh my gosh, it's only 9:36.
Right, I've got a few hours before lunchtime. This is another game where...
That's not realistic. Lunch is never at 12. They always feed you at crazy times in prison.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of jails and prisons that'll do breakfast at like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, something like that, and then you end up with lunch at like, maybe 10 or 11. I mean, there's a lot of places that the last time you're eating for the day is dinner at like 3 or 4.
Join the Sharp Tooth gang.
We're gonna do some gang stuff.
I would not go to Bill the Buffalo's cell. That did not actually sound like an enticing offer.
Yeah, anything that's Buffalo or Bill in the same moniker, I don't know.
This all sounds bad, dude. You now received a mysterious bag?
Yeah, no, I think it's all gonna be fine. I'm just gonna plant this questionable bag in this gentleman's cell
Just a quick plan.
in order to get money to make a phone call. How else am I
But
gonna
Carrie,
talk
you
to
think
my...
this is a bad idea?
I also think it's a bad idea.
I think you're going to shoe.
But I am gonna do it.
We would say you're going to the place.
What's that mean?
Shoe. Solitary.
Oh. Wait, what's shoe?
Special housing unit or segregated housing unit.
Okay. Make the delivery, Nicole.
We're gonna do it.
Yeah, sure.
People are watching
You're making bad decisions, just keep going.
I don't have enough focus points? Okay. I think I can earn my points through sitting. Let's see.
What? Are you sleeping in the daytime? That's really hard to do in prison.
Okay.
Is it just loud?
Yeah.
Bright and loud?
Some places they won't let you, but...
Let's see if I have enough strength to plant evidence.
That elephant, he's never gonna forget this.
Yeah. Oh.
Dice are usually banned in prison, for what it's worth.
For like gambling reasons?
So for the D&D group that I was interviewing for a while, they were making spinners because they couldn't have dice. And then there's some guys I've talked to in federal prison who were making these really elaborate dice, like by hand.
2 days ago, we asked Walter the skunk to cook a new batch up, but the rat bastard didn't just refuse. He snitched to the guards. Teach him a little lesson in the bathroom. The little snitch in the infirmary.
How does this result in me turning myself in for a job that I wasn't here for?
You're taking the heat.
Doing it. I'm gonna go turn myself in. Again, I need money to make a phone call, so I'm gonna do what I gotta.
Who are you trying to call?
Guess my lawyer.
Or you sure it's not your girlfriend?
I'm gonna call her
the
next.
girlfriend.
I'm
Okay.
gonna call her next. Turn yourself in. He should not accept this because I wasn't here 2 days ago, so we'll see how this goes.
Do we believe that he beat up that skunk?
I would never do that.
Guard's skeptical.
Okay, it was the day before you even got here.
Ooh,
Okay.
Found out.
I'm surprised he's paying attention that much. or
Punish me
cares.
anyway?
Assault with a weapon is punishable by 6
Oh my God,
hours of
that's
segregation.
insane. That is the most insane thing that has happened in this game.
Is that
If
too
you
little?
assault someone, you are not getting 6 hours of SEG. You're going to the hole for like 6 years.
All right,
That
I'm off
is
to
so much more time than
a
that.
vacation, he called it.
Well, being that snarky about solitary does track.
Yeah. Luxurious, a single room. Okay. Prison within a prison.
They do call it that.
No.
No, okay, that's not legal.
No food, no
You
warmth,
can't
no
put people in
friends, no
shoe with
mercy?
no food.
Does the food differ if you're in solitaire, or is it the same? You just
It depends. It depends. But you do still, in theory, get
Yeah.
fed.
Next is the routine frisk.
I mean, solitary is bad, but it's not like you're going to lose your mind in 6 hours. That's a bit dramatic.
I'm getting frisked. Ooh, and I'm rolling a dice about it.
Ooh, failed.
Oh, he's gonna took what I was gonna plant.
Oh no.
Oh,
This is falling apart.
Yeah, that's not gonna go well for me.
Is there any activity you can do in solitary? Like,
I can brush
you
my teeth.
read? Can you?
It depends. You may or may
Right.
not have access to books. You may or may not have access to writing supplies. You can obsessively work out.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes if you have like cockroaches in your cell, you might have cockroach races. Or you scream through the toilet and talk to the person in the next cell.
This is upsetting to me because I'm an insect lover, but the one insect I don't like is cockroaches. And it seems like so much of this prison pet culture is around cockroaches.
I mean, the choices are limited, you know? Although, oh, you know what? There were some guys in Texas prisons who had pet birds.
That I'd
There
be
was birds
so
that had got
into.
into the unit, and like a few of them had contraband phones, and they were sending me videos with their pet birds, like I don't know, like little pigeons and stuff. Like not even cute birds, but they were just their joy at having an animal that would like interact with them and they could hold in their hands was just so amazing.
Was it in Houston that you were helping inmates get access to dental care and to get dentures and?
Well, so I wrote a story about how Texas prisons were not giving people dentures, and instead, if you had no teeth, they would put your meal tray in a blender and puree it, pour it in a cup, and serve it to you that way. And I wrote a story about that, and you know, I guess the right people read it, and Texas prisons decided to change their policy and buy a 3D printer and start 3D printing teeth, which is actually a really cheap way to make dentures. It's actually a lot cheaper than the traditional way that dentures would be made. So they did that for a few years, and then they got rid of the 3D printing program, but they still do give more dentures than they used to. So yeah, as a result of that story, there was a few hundred people at least that have gotten teeth over the past few years.
Do you hear from any of those people? that have
Yes,
gotten
one
teeth?
of them just got out of prison, and I went and picked him up.
Cool.
Because when I first wrote the story, I told him that I would, you know, I was like, if you get teeth and you get out, I will take you out to lunch someday in the free world. And he finally got out. I did.
What are you up to now, Nicole? You're out of sol- you're out
I
of
picked some
solitary.
flowers.
Okay.
Ooh, crunchy.
Crunchy the gator.
I have a feeling he's gonna say mean things to me.
He doesn't look friendly.
No.
But I bet he gets
Well,
that a lot.
I'm curious
you know?
what that little koala guy's doing.
I bet the koala's mean. I feel like the croc, the gator, people think
Do you
he's
think
mean.
he's like in charge of things? He's like running a gang.
Oh, he might be
Yeah.
mean too. They might both be mean. I eat
I'm
my
not
words.
giving him my money.
I bet that sloth over there is the toughest mofo in the place. You don't want to mess with him.
I just said I was
He
gonna
looks-
fight him. I don't know how to fight.
Oh, come on, Nicole.
I
Oh,
don't want to fight. We're in prison.
I mean, I don't really know how to fight either.
All right.
But I had two interactions. I had one situation where I did punch somebody, and I just took them by such surprise that they didn't punch back, and the fight was over.
Nice.
And the other time, I had a terrible bunkie, and I actually went to the bathroom to cry, but it was like 2 a.m, and I stormed off, and that's where people fight. So everyone,
Oh.
and she was much bigger than me, and everybody thought I was going there to wait for her to fight her, and I wasn't. But they were like, "Oh my god."
You're going to have a nice cry.
They thought it was so tough, and
the
I'm like,
opposite.
they were like, "Yo, did you see what Harry Potter did?" 'Cause Harry Potter was my prison nickname.
So I didn't win.
Oh no, we needed that. We needed
So
that
now
win.
you're gonna get in trouble. Here's the thing: when you get beat in a fight, you're also getting in trouble because that's the proof you were in a fight.
Oh, and I lost all my money.
Oh my god, it keeps getting worse.
I'm never gonna call my lawyer.
I would call my editor first. I want to be like, at this point, you have seen some things in this prison. You have a great story.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna get some sleeping pills and call. No, I can't afford the sleeping pill. Prison sucks.
They're just selling sleeping pills in the commissary.
Well, the koala is.
Is that a vending machine? I'm also
Yes.
confused. There are vending machines in the LA jails.
Oh, okay.
It looks like I could buy some sustenance if I had money.
Okay, looks like we can't do anything else here.
You can't have chewing gum. There's chewing gum on that. There's
No
no
chewing
jail
gum.
or prison I have ever seen that allows chewing gum.
Well, Carrie, we're gonna have to play another game
Yeah.
because I feel like we've hit a wall in this
Yeah,
one.
I think I've committed too many crimes in prison to like really nail this one. So I think
I'm
call it.
pretty unhappy with this game. I'm just gonna say I don't like the premise. It is disconcerting.
yeah, hits too close to home.
And you are not good at doing time, honey.
No,
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm taking those words bravely, but I do think you're right.
You should try to not break the law.
Yeah,
Well,
you're right.
will you come back and play a different game with this fish?
No, I'm getting better. My person.
Okay. Hopefully you learn how to do some time.
Yes, yes.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming and playing with us. Where can people find more about you and your work?
I am all over social media. I'm on Instagram and TikTok at Carrie Blakinger, or you can find my work on the LA Times.
Cool. Thank you so much for watching Won't You Be My Gamer? We'll be back next week. And in the meantime, please support us. Nicole, how can they do that?
Find us. We're PBS SoCal. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. And share with your friends. Share with your parents.
Like, subscribe,
Like,
donate.
subscribe, donate.
See you next time.